All right, it's time for A's and Nays. 6 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour. And today I did say we're going to be talking about the issue of state creation and, of course, tenure elongation. And no better duo to have this conversation than a lawyer and a politician. And these two are going to be helping us make sense of this particular bill that's on the floor of the National Assembly that many are asking for, the creation of another southeastern state, of course, to one way or the other in Ugochinyere's position, try to level the ground or the playing field for those in the southeast and balance it for those in the north. And then, of course, the issue of a 6-year tenure, single tenure, is what they're also asking for in that bill, and several other issues. So we're going to talk about this. I know that, lots of people have kicked against it. Many people have said it doesn't make sense. And there are other people who are saying it's a very welcome development. It will help somewhat address some of the issues that Nigerians have to deal with, especially when it comes to tribalism, when it comes to proper representation. But then I'll allow my guests to try to explain and let's see if we can make sense of it. My first guest who's just joined us, Kunle Lawal. He's a friend of the house. He is the executive director of the Electoral College Nigeria. Kunle, it's so good to have you join us. Even though you're late, we're going to fine you on Nigeria Info. We're going to fine you. Just know it's a 5 million naira fine.
We will not discuss this late coming. I actually was there preceding time.
And then you disappeared.
To be as media as possible and not stay on time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Kunle, while we wait for the lawyer to join us, let's start by looking at Ugochinyere's push for the issue of state creation. Let's start with there first before we go to the tenure elongation part, which is more legal. Let's start by looking at that whole state creation. Some of them are calling it Olu state, some of them. And I must put a caveat saying that the issue of state creation, I'm pushing for more states to be created, didn't start today. There are those in Cross River who are asking for a Goja state. There are those in the southwest who are asking for a Lagoon state and several other states. Why do you think that, or what do you think? What do you make of Ugochinyere's push for Olu state?
First and foremost, thank you very much. The conversation of state creation has always begun way before this government. I think it started sometime in even the that's the second assembly, that's post Obasanjo.
Yes.
I was under Yar'Adua's tenure. From then, there's been conversations, and you rightly mentioned, Ogoja State was even one of the 4 leaders in that conversation. The Lagoon State came sometime in 2014, 2013. And then we've had all those states started about 2015, and the agitation has kind of risen. For me, I don't know whether that was one of the campaign promises the representative put forward to his people. But the truth is, now let's look at it. You're talking about state creation. Most people say it will help. Let's look at states that have been separated from other states. An example, Cross River and Akwa Ibom. Not so good relationship as of now. The list is endless. Katsina and Kaduna always at loggerheads over jurisdictions and etc. And a few things that were within, like the Abut Sheka, the ABU Teaching Hospital, was on the borderline of being in Katsina State. Kaduna State fought that thing because ABU apparently is in Kaduna State. So there's always that fracas with the mother state. Sharing of civil servants, what civil servants are supposed to do, how educational institutions, resources are shared. A lot of things will come into play. But now, here's the economic part of it. No one is talking about the fact that we're not only going to have more senators, more House of Reps, more governors to pay. Nobody's thinking of that. Let's look at the funniest part of it. We're going to have, let's say, another 20 local government, which, of course, no local government earns less than 250 million naira in fact allocation per month. That is now going to another 20 will indirectly mean that this would be us giving another, give or take, 10 billion in another direction. This also goes to another state earning about 7 billion, and they will claim security votes. Let's add another 6 billion on top of that. So every state created will cost us nearly 100 billion. This is a new governor, a new entourage, a new this, a new that. But at what production level? What is Olu State going to bring to the economy? What is Olu State going to drive that Nigeria is going to earn money from? For me, we keep separating states because of the African need to be a chairman. If we leave Nigerians alone, I'm sure every estate will be a state. But even if every estate were a state, Maryann will say she's the fairest in her estate, so she must have her own state for. And then we have a very rowdy conversation. For me, how have states acted? Even with the new Energy Act, which allows states to generate their own electricity, nobody has picked up on it since 2022 when this was passed, apart from Abia State. I was thinking Mega City will be on top of it, but Mega City is still dealing with drainage. But let's not look at that.
Thank you for the snide remark. Thank you for the snide remark.
So performance of states haven't exactly been interesting for the nation. So I don't, under any reason, see any reason why any state should be created at this point.
I mean, you've made an interesting case, but then they're saying when it comes to the elections, numbers are more than numbers. Why is the North favored and then the Southeast is not favored? I've had a little bit of this conversation, I think 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, or on Monday. Several people called me to have a serious fight with me, trying to make a case that, look, the numbers are not adding up. And if we do have these numbers, if we do have this state separation, then we will have more numbers and we'll have some sort of a leverage. I don't know if you buy that, even though you're already putting your foot down.
That is probably the most ludicrous argument I've ever had. If we put Eastern Nigeria inside Northern Nigeria, each state will be a local government. And we're being firm and correct with that. So they already even have more states per square meter than the North, if we're ratioing it like that. They have more states per square meter. I don't know why we still have this northern-southern dichotomy argument or rhetoric, which I feel is baseless. If that's the argument, how well have you developed your small units? Let's look at small states like Abia. Let's look at Abia didn't know Julius Berger till the president governor came in. 20-something years of democracy. That's shocking. How has Imo fared with its resources? How has Enugu? How has Anambra? The list is endless. And I don't understand how more states translates to more people or more effective. And when you're talking about elections, I don't think there will be more polling units because the polling units in that jurisdiction will just be converted to a new state's polling unit. That's all what happened. Polling units will remain the same. So except the Southeast is going to go and conquer part of Cameroon and extend itself up, they don't have the landmass to even factor. Let's be honest, you drive 2 hours, you're in another state in the east. You don't need to drive 2 hours. I'm being exaggerating. You drive 45 minutes, 1 hour, 15 minutes, you're in another state. They have more states per state than they should. If the North were divided as the Southeast is divided, the North would probably have 40 states. And that is being honest with it. So I don't understand the argument of the rationale. Develop your own state now. You have fewer states, fewer landmass, meaning your funds are even covering a smaller distance. You're able to do a whole lot more. But if you haven't done this with development, then where then is the argument that you need more states?
Okay. I'm waiting for the lawyer to join us because we need to talk about the legality of even having these states. Again, we're talking about minimum wage here, and if it's even in any way is going to help. I mean, the states who have said, governors have come out to say that they're not going to be able to pay this minimum wage. They've outrightly said, no, we can't pay. So again, we need to talk about the viability of states, economic viability of states before we get to, creating more and more states, even though there's also that argument Kunle, about the fact that every state in Nigeria is blessed one way or the other underneath the ground.
Maryann, I'm a proponent of if states can't function, I wouldn't mind Lagos buying Zamfara State so that they could farm rice for them and taking over Zamfara State entirely, paying its civil servants, doing everything. You can still retain the same Zamfara State, but it's under the auspices of Lagos State. I see it from a capitalist and production point. We have states that are totally unviable in Nigeria. There's Kebbi, there's some states in the southeast. Their IGR is totally zero because their governors are totally uningenious. And these states are not unviable because they aren't good sub-federating units. They are unviable because the CEOs, which are the chief executives, or what we call the emperors of state, which some people call governors, have decided not to be creative about it. You're looking at, look at Kogi State, for example. The governor has probably moved from a white lion to a white turkey right now, running away from people because of funds being embezzled and people not being paid salaries. And if you look at the minimum wage, Kogi State offered the least among all state governors, not because they've actually have looted their treasury.
Barrister Obinna Chukwu is joining us via telephone. Barrister Obinna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Great. I know that you had difficulties joining us via Zoom. Let's start by taking your thoughts first on Ugo Chinyere's position about creating new states, especially he pushing for an Olu state. We're looking at it legitimately, constitutionally, and of course, viably in terms of the economy.
Okay. I don't know if that's the question.
I'm asking what your thoughts are, what you think about his push for, another state creation.
Okay, number one, I think that what is raising the agitation for creation of state is or stemmed from the imbalance in the Nigerian society. I mean, how many persons have you heard asking that a senatorial zone or zones should be created? Do you know why they don't ask for senatorial zones to be created? Because all the states in Nigeria have equal senatorial zones, 3 completely. So it doesn't matter how big or how small the state is, it has 3 senatorial zones. And that's the way to go. Because a situation where you have some zones or some political zones in Nigeria have 7 states, the other one 6, another one 5. That will invariably create or stimulate agitations across board. I think that if Nigeria must get it right, and it should by now, the issue of creation of states, creation of local government should have been a thing of the past because if the system is structured in a way that gives everybody equal opportunity, that would have been the best thing. So, looking at the state that is being demanded, the creation of one more state for Southeast has been on the discussion table for more than 5 to 10 years now. I think they should do that. But for me, if you ask for my opinion on what I want would have been for Nigeria to go back to the region. Go back to the region. If any of the regions want to create 30 or 50 or 100 states that they can fund, let it be the business of the regions. Because we have accepted technically, and even with the way we've been interacting amongst ourselves, that regions exist. So if we can go back to regions and allow the regions, whatever you think you can create that will make you viable, that will make your region better, so be it. If you want 100, create 100 insofar as you will fund it. Because the agitation for states now is because of the money that is coming from the federation account. So that the region will get as much as others are getting. But if we go back to region, if the money comes to the federal and the money is divided, let's say it's divided equal half, apart from the oil producing area that should have a separate amount. Whatever they do with their money, if they get 200 billion for that region and they want to create 50 or 100 states, that will be their business. If we don't go back to region, if we don't energize these political zones somewhatly by granting them semi-autonomy to exist, we will continue to hear the agitation. After that of Olu, now, you will hear that from the southwest. Another one will come from North Central, the cycle will continue to be like that. It will continue to go, Nigeria will continue to go around in circles. Then again, regarding viability, I think Olo has one of the greatest potentials to exist as a state, because Olo is an oil producing community. Olo is known for drug business, is known for legitimate drug business, is known for their international market, spare parts and all that. So there enough of business activities do go on in Olo. I think they can sustain it. But for me, from a nationalistic look, I would prefer we go back to region, let the region create whatever thing that they want to create among themselves. But the federal government should deal with region so that we have less problems and less agitation.
Okay. I want us to talk about the 6-year single tenor. I have just 1 minute on the clock. I have to go on a break, but I'd let you guys think about it. Kunle, you also, because we're in a position where we're reaping the so-called benefits of a democratic system. The 4-year tenor is what we've been dealing with the whole time. If we change it to a 6-year single tenor, what changes will it bring? What benefit will it come with? What if the 4-year tenure is bad? I mean, what makes it bad? Is it that if we have a 6-year tenure, the promises and the programs and the things that they say they're going to do, will they be able to carry it out in 6 years other than 4 years? And who's to say that, Nigerians are okay with a 6-year tenure? Or is it just one of those things that the National Assembly is going to do? They'll pass it quickly and then will not have a say. The Electoral College will have a say in this matter. Barrister Chukwu, you will also have a say in this matter, but we have to go on a break. The program is A's and Nays, and we're talking about tenure elongation and, of course, the issue of state creation. Kunle Lawal of the Electoral College Nigeria is here, and of course Barrister Obinna Chukwu is joining us to give us a legal perspective on this matter. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is Hard Facts.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts, whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. We're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's not just the news or information.
It is more than you ask for.
What we ask when Lagos says this organization is meant to help us out, and the people.
So when you're cooking your delicious meals, don't compromise. Go for gold.
Rich, consistent taste for cooking mouth-watering soups, stews, and jollof. Choose wisely. Choose Gold. Terra Gold Seasoning Cube.
1 cube. Endless possibilities. Terra Gold.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls, introducing the first of its kind in Nigeria.
The first radio just for kids. It's here at 101.7 Kids FM.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes.
It's going to be fun for kids on your airwaves 24/7.
Talking about from exciting games
Check.
to juicy gist
Double check.
and great music.
Super check.
All these and more on your number one PlayStation 101.7 Kids FM.
Don't be the last to join the train. Download the Kids FM app on your iOS or Play Store today and stay tuned on the go.
You can stream on our website at kidsfm.ng.
You can also follow us on all socials at kidsfm.ng and stand a chance to be one of the super kids.
On 101.7 Kids FM. Remember, it's no dull moments on Kids FM.
So tune in and stay locked on 101.7 Kids FM.
Let's play. Are you finding it difficult listening to your favorite talk radio Nigeria Info via the mobile app? Come closer. Let me fix that for you. Now, launch the app on your device. Click the three lines on the top left corner of the app. Look for settings in the drop-down menu and click on it. Turn on the first option that you see. Make sure you turn on the option that says always use highest quality available audio. Now that you have done that, close the app and relaunch it. Voila! I did it! Oh, sorry, you did it. Now you can enjoy your radio anywhere, anytime. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
That special secret that awakens taste buds. Mouth-watering wonder with awesome aroma. Terra seasoning cubes.
Terra Seasoning Cube turns your meals into a masterpiece.
Unwrap joy, unleash taste. Hey, come cook with Terra cubes. Come cook with Terra.
Tell me which kind thing Viva no fi wash away, 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 away. Jenna tomato paste or coffee stain your body. Viva go wash away, 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 away. Chicken for your clothes now all you need for Viva to wash away, 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 away. Eh, gentle for your pocket, gentle for your hand. Oh my Viva, you couldn't make you shine. Oh Viva, Viva. Oh no no, I love my Viva, oh Viva. Oh no no, Uncle say bye bye to a very tough stage, yo. Oh no no, Mama say bye bye to any kind stage, yo. Oh no no, oh Viva, Viva. Oh no no, I love my Viva, Viva. Oh no no.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime where they cook like this, I they always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one will know they put. Now he make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You summer all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
New Lafarge water shield cement now confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Niger. Yeah. Obonga cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Niger. Yeah. New Lafarge water shield cement number one. Number one. New Lafarge waterproof cement now confirm. One time. Put full stop for water wahala. With Lafarge water shield cement, water go collect. If water jam house, foundation and basement to call, no shaking. Obonga cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Lafarge, Lafarge, not confirm. Cement, new Lafarge water shield cement, not confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
Are you finding it difficult listening to your favorite talk radio Nigeria Info via the mobile app? Come closer. Let me fix that for you. Now launch the app on your device. Click the three lines on the top left corner of the app. Look for settings in the drop-down menu and click on it. Turn on the first option that you see. Make sure you turn on the option that says always use highest quality available audio. Now that you have done that, close the app and relaunch it. Voila! I did it! Oh, sorry, you did it. Now you can enjoy your radio anywhere, anytime. Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
See how I'm using corner eye to look at you as you keep pressing *321# on your phone. Is it not credit that you want to borrow from Glow?
Yes, now. What happened? Has the code changed?
Where have you been, girl? *303# is the new code. code to borrow credit and data on Glow.
So the code is no longer *321 hash, but *303 hash?
Confirmento. Voila! It worked before Uncle. *303 hash, not before show. But guy, I hope so the data where you borrow go reach me and you.
Dial *303 hash to borrow credit and data on Glow and pay later. *303 hash. New code. Same great ease.
Glow Unlimited.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids the new Milo 3-in-1. Milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! The regular football season is over, but not for us here at Supersport. We've got a big deal coming your way. Euro 2024. Witness football's biggest names: Saka, Mbappe, Ronaldo, and many more battle it out in 51 trillion matches enjoyed on DSTV. Stay connected to watch it live from the 14th of June to the 14th of July on Supersport. Now that's a big deal. Watch teams bow to no one in Euro 2024. Available on all DSTV packages. DSTV. Your home of sport.
Chinedu! Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is that jollof ready?
Right on time. Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
Dearest gentle listener, are you seated? Because a little birdie just told me that Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2 continues. Prepare to be swept back into a world of drama, steamy romance, scandal, and gossip. Follow the love story of the season as it unfolds.
Now playing Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2, only on Netflix, with plans starting from 1,600 Naira only. T's and C's apply.
Get in here, parents, teachers, and school principals. The Hares Insurance SA Championship is back. Your child could win 5 million Naira scholarship and prizes for their school in the 2024 SA Championship. To enter, simply get your child to write a 500-word essay on the topic, "If I Could Invent Something New," and submit the essay on www.hairsinsurancegroup.com/essay. Hares is spelled HEIRS. The competition is open to students in JSS 1 to JSS 3 only. Application deadline is July 7, 2024. The Hares Insurance SA Championship is brought to you by Hares Insurance Group. For more details, visit www.hairsinsurancegroup.com.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids the new Milo 3-in-1. Milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! Hey! Dear Glow subscribers, are you aware of the new directive from the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC)? You could lose your mobile number just like that.
Unless you link your Glow SIM with your NIN immediately, your mobile number will be gone.
Don't let this happen to you. Act now and save your precious mobile number.
Just dial *996# to check your NIN linking status. Follow the steps and visit any of our Glow outlets or SIM registration agents close to you. You could also visit the NIMC office close to you to get your NIN registration done.
Make sure your number is safe and secure. Don't delay. Do it today. Remember, SIM registration is free.
Glow Unlimited.
Savings that bring you home.
Kids, this is our new home.
Dad, our new house is big.
Savings that support your joy.
Congratulations, you've become parents.
Savings that free your creativity.
Camera rolling and action.
Achieve much more with AXA Mansard Money Market Funds. Open an account today to enjoy competitive returns on savings. Track daily interest with ease. Prompt liquidation without penalties. Transact online and via USSD. Visit www.axamansard.com today.
Please read the prospectus and where in doubt, consult your stockbroker, fund or portfolio manager, accountant, banker, solicitor, or any other professional advisor for guidance before subscribing.
Guy, what do you think about Euro's finest? For example, this Aston Martin. England's hottest. Small body, big engine. Like Saka in the box 18. Saka! Look at this German machine. Benzo. Tough like Rudiger.
There he goes.
Guy can stop the unstoppable.
If the boys are this excited, it must be Showmax, where football is made in Europe and lived in Nigeria. Catch Euro 2024 on Showmax Premier League. Subscribe now from 2,900.
What takes a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness? Is it when it is cooked with no seasoning cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrot, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans?
It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of Knorr cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, eat for good.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
All right, we're back. It's still Hard Facts, A's and Nays. Every Thursday, we talk about issues that have to do with legislation. And today, we're looking at Ugo Chinyere's legislation on state creation and, of course, pushing for tenure elongation. For those of you who do not know, Ugo Chinyere actually is a member of the National Assembly, and he's pushing for the creation of Olu. He recommended that his Olu senatorial zone host as will be the state city capital. He suggested the establishment of Olu state, that it could result in the formation of a senatorial district from Ideato, the area where he represents in the House. Now, this bill has passed first reading in the House. It seeks to amend the 1999 Constitution by adding a new paragraph to include 28 local government areas. He's pushed also for a 6-year tenure, single tenure, as opposed to the 4-year tenure that we have already. Now, let me bring it to you, Barrister Obinna. What exactly does the law say in terms of the tenure that we have? Of course, we already know that we have 4-year single tenures. Already that's constitutional. If this were supposed to be the case and this passes second reading, what will it take for that to be affected in our constitution?
Okay, presently the Nigerian constitution provides for 4-year and 4-year first tenure and another 4 years for tenure again for an incumbent, meaning that for Nigerian constitution, elections to the office of the president, the governor, National Assembly, State Assembly, holds every 4 years.
4 years.
Holds every 4 years. So, but with what Honorable Ugo Chinyere is proposing is that that be changed to a 6-year single tenure, meaning that elections will now be held every 6 years. Every 6 years. And again, secondly, that the incumbent is completely the right of an incumbent to
rerun
run for another election will by this be extinguished.
But does that not also one way or another? I mean, because you know what they say, the government is a continuum, but that we haven't seen in a long time. But that one way or the other not also infringe on the right of a person to get elected? And what if the people want a person to do a second tenure? How does the Constitution just shut that person out?
Okay, the thing there is that the reason or the philosophy behind having limitation to tenure is to ensure that no one person sits or becomes a dictator, runs government continuously as if the same government belongs to him or his family.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that. But the problem that I have is that the essence of election is for the people to participate or for the people to exercise the right regularly to choose who governs them. If you have election every 4 years, what it simply means is that you're going back to the same people to ask them to either renew their mandate or remove their mandate and vest the mandate on another person. What I think that is happening to Nigeria regarding to this bill is that politicians are trying by all means to see that they don't come back to the people for the people to either renew the mandate or to vest the same mandate on another person. How can you say that you have election? You elect a governor or you elect a president, and you allow the person to stay for 6 years without getting to the people. I do not think that will only benefit us, because the only thing that they are canvassing, the only advantage that they have said that will give to us is that it reduces the regularity of election.
Okay.
To the extent that you will, rather than have election every 4 years, you can now have it every 6 years.
Okay.
Or look at a 12-year run. In 12 years, from what they are proposing, you have election 2 times. In 12 years, you have election under the 4 years and 3 times. What has it really done? In U.S., election to the office of governor is for 2 years. All that sought to do is to ensure that the mandate of the people is sought at every point in time.
Okay.
To either renew or not to renew. When other countries are looking at even reducing it to 2 years and removing limitation on it, he's canvassing for 6 years. I don't think that makes absolute sense.
Let me bring Kunle back into the conversation. Kunle, you obviously are of the Electoral College. The Electoral College, I presume, educates people on the electoral rights. I saw you do something on Democracy Day called poly something. What did you call it? You're educating
literacy.
Yes,
political literacy.
Yes, so
and that's what we've been centered about.
Perfect. What do you think? I mean, the lawyer is saying that this is just a gimmick to benefit the politicians as opposed to having the interest of the people at heart. Where do you stand on that issue before I bring Lagosians into this conversation?
Okay. I think the barrister explained it clearly. But there's a clause he didn't even mention, which doesn't sit at all well with me. And that's the introduction of 2 vice presidents. The first vice president will be someone from the same region as the president and will be held in waiting, so that if anything happens to the president, they will say the president's region was still compensated. While the second president sits down and manages the economy. For me, that is absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. And I tend to agree with the barrister that this only means, because the key for every democracy is participation. Mm-hmm. If you delay participation, then we could as well welcome you in the military. I believe the military will either shoot themselves or have a coup before even 6 years. They are more even guaranteed less than 6 years. So we're in a democracy. Well, you can't discuss these matters and say we're in a democracy and have a 6-year tenure. So I'm going to stand the governor for 6 years, even though it's a single tenure. We already have totalitarian governors. I don't think there's so much ado with the president. For me, when it comes to the office of the president, I think a single term will be fine. But I'm with the barrister on reduction to 2 years
For the
governors.
governors.
I don't think, yes, and I feel they should only serve 2 terms and nothing more than that. I feel what a governor cannot achieve in 4 years, he cannot achieve in 8 years. And if I remember, last governor of your state, Maryann, was a very perfect example. Because the rhetoric in Nigeria is that when a child fails class, we ask him to repeat. How politically naive is that? Totally politically naive when you say someone failed class, let's give him another chance.
But leadership
For me,
is
it's
not a
absolutely
class.
ludicrous.
Leadership is not a place where you come to fail and keep failing.
But let me remind you, do you know where that rhetoric first started? It first started with Lucky Benedion in Edo State.
Oh gosh. I want to bring.
Yes, I remember. Oh,
I
you
want
don't
to bring.
remember
I
that.
want to bring the Lagosians into this conversation because of time. Lagos, the phone lines are open 0201 277 0993. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Post your comments and you can ask questions if you want to. Barrister Obinna Chukwu is here with us. Kunle Lawal of the Electoral College, and we're talking about the issue of elongation of tenures and, of course, state creation. What are your thoughts on these issues? Someone says people will keep asking for more states and local governments as long as we continue to feed from the center. And the factors that determine what you take is land mass and number of states and the number of local governments. Resource control, true federalism is the solution to this. Mfonakwan, thank you very much for your message. This one says, good evening, Nigerian folk crew. All this program APC is trying to implement now, such as this subsidy removal, 6-year single tenure, is what former President Goodluck Jonathan was trying to introduce in Nigeria. But these people in power today opposed everything coming from Goodluck's government because of hatred. If they have supported the agenda at that time, by this time we will have gone past that. When you destroy others to climb, bear in mind that you will surely be destroyed. So let everyone think twice before they act. State creation for Southeast is very okay by me because of imbalance. Martins Duru from Ikotwingbe. Let me go to the phone lines. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
I greet you.
Don't shout, don't shout, don't shout.
Okay, I greet you and I guess.
Go ahead.
That bill is a charade. It's not for me and you. It's for politicians. I need the regional government. I want to go and extract my regional God-given natural resources. I want to tell that electoral college that all the whole Southeast, we have natural resources, gold, lead, oil, power and everything we get. That's for Southeast. You know, go. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. Thank you. All right, 0201 277 1993, 277 0993, 277 2993, and 277 3993. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, action lady. Good evening.
Good evening.
And good evening to our guest. The man from Electoral College, in all your discussions, and the barrister himself, how come nobody chipping about this independent candidate who can go outside these politicians? Hello, Maryann.
Yeah, I'm listening.
How come none of them is pushing for independent candidate? At least Nigerians can make their choice. Oh, this man can do this for us. Please, the man from Electoral College and the lawyer, can people discuss about this independent candidate of a thing? Look at Kenya. The guy that wins in Kenya is an independent candidate. Thank you.
All right. I don't know if the guy in Kenya was independent. Was he an independent? No, he wasn't.
No, he was not an independent. He was even
independent.
supported by the guy that last. He was in the same party with the guy that last lost.
Yes.
And I don't think independent candidacy. For me, I believe in independent candidacy at local government level. But at presidential level, with 176,000 polling units, imagine you have to pay people 5K for 2 people in polling units. You are talking of close to 3 billion naira on election day alone. It's not viable to run for president. So it's not like we don't notice it. I would argue it for local government elections any day and state assembly. But anything higher than that, Nigeria's landmass, it is not viable.
But then there's independent candidates in the US, or is it that we've not grown to that level? Is it not?
No.
Is it that
if you notice, independent candidacy in the US, Kanye West ran for president. How many votes did he get? Independent candidacy has always worked.
Can I say it's because he was Kanye?
No. Other people have tried it. Jesse Jackson tried it. A lot of people have tried it. The only place independent candidacy works is at lower level elections, and that's because they know the person personally. It is grassroots. They know each other personally. It works there. It works there, but it cannot work on a higher level. Even in the US, in the UK, in Sweden, wherever they practice it has never worked on the high level. It works on lower levels. It can't work on the high level.
By stopping now, you want to chip in?
Yes. The idea of independent candidate is good, but I do not think that will work in Nigeria. Because look at the last election, the Labour Party was almost like an independent candidate. It was almost like that. What happened across the state? What happened? An organized, an organized thievery happened in the last election. The last election that we had. Yes, it is a novel idea, but again, they will say you don't have structure. And of course, in Nigeria, you need structure to be able to win election. It's not only to participate in the election, it's to win the election, be able to win.
Okay.
It will go to the various, all the states. Anytime the states conduct election, you'll find out that the party in power, they will win all the votes. They will even win where no local government exists.
Okay.
How then would an independent candidate work? It's a good idea, but the way Nigeria is structured, the way we hold our elections, and the way things are in Nigeria, I doubt if the independent candidates will even break even.
All right. Well, I wish we had time, Kunle. Maybe next time we'll come and talk about. We'll come back and talk. I'm out of time. I have just 28 seconds. I think next time we'll come back and talk about how our elections are, conducted, how we're structured, how the political, structure in Nigeria works, and maybe we can see if we can deconstruct it or reconstruct it and see. This is a conversation that obviously we should have. But I want to say thank you guys because of time. Kunle Lawal is the executive director of the Electoral College Nigeria. He's still go on social media and follow them. They're talking about political. Oh my God, Politeracy. That's politics literacy. And of course, Barrister Obinna Chukwu joined us live from Port Harcourt. Thank you so much, Barrister Obinna, for being part of the conversation.
Thank you very much.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, Lagos, we have to leave it here. Go for a break. And when we come back, I'll say my proper goodbye. Stay with us.
Hey, Lagos. So let me remind you that you too can participate.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's